Что у меня тут? YouTube запускается. Заработала. Личинка. Как дела, Денис? Что нового? Как работается? Как у вас погодка там в Москве? А что это за событие? Пришел и ушел. Быстро. Быстро. Там сильно. Нас там сильно придет. Нет.
Good evening, Mr. Petrescu. What are you doing here?
I could ask you the exact same question, Mr. Doctor. Now leave me alone.
I heard what happened to Nurse Crane. How do you feel, Mr. Petrescu?
Everything was going well until you arrived. Dorothea helped people and will be sorely missed.
I regret it too. I wish she'd continued working at the Pembroke Hospital. She was a good nurse.
So you put an end to the operation. Did you put an end to Dorothea as well?
You seem to have a lot on your chest, sir. What's wrong?
I heard you are a famous surgeon. Tell me, what did you do to Dorothea? She was so bright, so clever. Then you made her an empty shell.
I didn't use drugs or medical trickery, Mr. All I did was talk to Nurse Crane. I promise you.
But what happened to her then? After you left, she did not even recognize me. Then she got careless and sick, and I had to flee.
Tell me everything you know about Camellia, the mute florist.
I do not believe in the afterlife, Doctor. but I'm almost convinced Camellia is an angel. She volunteered to give out our medical leaflets.
Tell me everything you know about Camellia, the mute florist.
I do not believe in the afterlife, Doctor, but I'm almost convinced Camellia is an angel. She volunteered to give out our medical leaflets.
Are you not worried for her safety?
She is as brave as she is tough, and clever, too. If only I had met her.
Are you in love with Camellia, Mr. Petrescu?
Don't be stupid. If I had met her when I was younger, we could have won our revolution.
Who is she, really? Do you know where she's from?
She's not from around here, that's all we know. Camellia is not even her name. It's her favorite flower.
You say she has no close family.
Well, there's that awful poet who constantly follows her around like a lost puppy. A good man for sure, but a very poor writer.
Tell me everything you know about Camellia, the mute florist. Did you refuse to publish Richard Nethercott's previous works, Daria?
Yes, his manuscript.
You could have told him so.
As a great writer recently said, polite.
What do you plan to do now that Nurse Crane is gone?
I'm not sure. Strange men came to see me after Dorothea's death, with strange weapons and very odd stories.
What kind of stories?
Stories all Romanian children know. It was as if I was home again. Vampires, Mr. Doctor. Vampires.
You believe them? Aren't you too old to hold a weapon or listen to scary stories?
Yes, I am old and alone and will die soon, but if these stories are true, maybe I have found myself another cause.
Are you living on the streets, Mr. Petrescu?
And why not? Those who believe they'll be safe behind walls are blind.
What about your house?
My house is always open to any poor soul needing a roof. All my work here is lost now that Dorothea is gone, thanks to you.
Why are you so aggressive?
I remember the night you came here and convinced me to open my door to you, sir. I'd like to punch you right on your chops.
Goodbye, Mr. Petrescu.
It's all around us.
When science fails you, this elixir will give you faith again.
If I could get some working.
Good evening, Benjamin. Can I help you?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Reed.
Have you any news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
Not recently.
A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper make a terrible cocktail, sir. Goodbye for now. Good evening, Benjamin. Can I help you?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Reed.
A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper make a terrible cocktail. Goodbye for now. Good evening, sir. Do you remember me?
If you're here for a reward, you'll be sorely disappointed. But I'll gladly shake the hand of a fellow countryman.
I'm not here for a bounty. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reed from the Pembroke.
A doctor? In Whitechapel? What an opportunity. My name's Bates. Cadogan Bates.
Do you require assistance, Mr. Bates?
Not me, but your skills could help a lot of people round here. That would help my business, because I say, a live tenant's a paying tenant.
Since I took an oath to help people, can I be of assistance?
Well, seen better days, that's for sure. But it was bound to happen with all these refugees about.
Нашла этого мужика 3 километров.
Infecting you is probably the last thing on these people's minds. Take this, in any case.
What? You give me this for free? Don't have a clue about this place, do you?
Have you heard anything about Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
Not really.
Why am I not convinced?
Maybe it's because you lack faith. Being a skeptic must be useful for a man of science.
What help could I possibly be to your business?
That's simple. I already get good money from all those fleeing the war. Can you imagine what they'd be willing to pay if I could offer medical assistance too?
Mr. Bates, do not make me regret saving your life in this quarantine zone.
I understand, Dr. Reed, you're from a good family. Don't want to get your hands dirty. That's fine. I'll be happy to act as your middleman.
I've no interest in money. Perhaps one night I will visit you and take what I require. If that should happen, there will be no need for a middleman.
So it's a no, then. That's too bad. The Reed tonic could have really helped people, you know, save lives. Isn't that what you do? I mean, people buy that Swamborous shit.
It's unusual to see someone so happy around here, especially considering the current situation.
Why should I be sad now? There've always been wars, disease, tragedy. There always will be.
That's an unusual way of seeing things in these trying times.
I don't see why I should shed a tear for another man's woes. I'm healthy, and I intend to stay so.
What is your business, exactly?
I offer fair lodgings for a modest price to the poor and weary of Whitechapel.
I see. And those who cannot pay.
Well, deals can be done, if you know what I mean. Money's not the only currency. After all, I'm not immune to a pretty face.
I don't approve of your actions, but I know very little about this borough, other than its reputation. There are always necessary evils.
A necessary evil. That's one way to think about it. Knew you had more smarts than all these immigrants.
Tell me, what's your honest opinion of the increasing violence in London?
People are just beginning to discover what we've always known. This city's rotten to the core. They just took their bloody time to wake up and notice it.
What do you mean?
People are acting like the violence is news. But it's always been savage down here. It just bubbles to the surface every now and again.
You seem to have recovered well since your attack. Do you ever think about what happened to you?
Not much. It was a fucking nightmare. Savages, absolute bloody savages. Their appearance. Jesus. It made me want to puke.
You'd better not come back here. I won't be around next time to save you. I want to know everything about the recent violence, Cadogan. And I want the truth.
Well, rent may be a bit high, and yeah, I've had to evict a few people. But that's business, isn't it?
Take this as my final warning. You will not profit from the misery of others. Business is one thing, but what you do is quite another.
Really? What you gonna do? You ain't from here. You ain't Whitechapel, Doctor. You wouldn't know the first thing about playing dirty, even if you wanted to.
Have you heard anything about Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
Not really.
A man such as yourself, knee-deep in the muck of Whitechapel, must know more. Speak now.
Heard it closed after the owners died. Refugees don't want to come to Whitechapel no more. Scared, I hear.
You sound disappointed.
As long as she was there at the dispensary, it attracted more immigrants and kept my place full. Such a shame.
Привет, Серега. Как дела?
Goodbye, Mr. Bates.
Да, дала лекарство. Ну, я поняла, куда нам идти.
I have this thirst for blood.
Ну, по-моему, медсестра умерла. Да. Что не делаю? 24 уровень, ребят. Да, я труп. Сама виновата. Dark Souls.
People are talking about this Colossus. Perhaps I should look into it.
Ну, пойдем. Так, ладно, Dark Souls начинается. Ладно, пойдем по сюжету.
This is despicable. I have this thirst for blood. This is despicable.
Да.
Pay one way or another.
Please, Joe. How long have we known each other?
So pale, my lord. Would you like me to revive you?
Уторси. Ну что, тут тоже а-та-та дадут?
Yes? What is it that you want?
I'm sorry to disturb you at such a late hour.
No worries, my son. I'm still quite awake, having just returned from a funeral.
Yes, I know. I've forgotten what I wanted. I don't know.
May I help you, child? You seem somewhat perturbed.
I haven't the strength to cross the... I wish to pray, to cleanse my soul.
The church is shut by order of the bishop. But I'm still the vicar of St. Mary's, if that is any use to you, my son.
You seem to me a good soul, Vicar. But this is a personal matter.
There are no secrets from God, my son. If your heart needs comfort, consider me your chapel. For I can be as silent as stone.
I've words for one departed. They're not for living ears to hear.
Your eyes burn with rage, yet I see the pain that lies beyond. I am here to lighten the burden of all God's creatures. Whatever you tell me is between us and the Lord.
Very well, priest. As you seem quite adamant.
Open your heart, my son. Tell me what burdens you. With whom do you wish to speak?
She was my sister.
You seem so troubled by the loss of this girl. What happened to her?
She was murdered.
I see. And how are you feeling, my son?
She died because of me. How do you think I feel?
I have a final question for you, my son. This is of the utmost importance.
Ask your question, Vicar.
What words would you like to say to your poor sister?
I killed you. There's no excuse. My dear Mary, forgive me.
You have been heard, my son, and your burden will lighten if your words are sincere. Go in peace now, and live your life in the way she would have wanted.
Нам опять в больницу. Так. Так, это порт. У нас больница. Ну, кстати. От мигрени. У нас тут мы еще не знаем.
There. I confessed to that vicar. Do I feel better? Only time will tell.
Angel made flesh, I tell you.
Hello again, miss. Camellia, I know you were... a stubborn... Tell me... Very well. Goodbye, then. Good evening, Mr. Nethercott.
And good evening to you too, my good sir. Can I be of any help?
Have you recent news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
Not at all, sir.
You don't really make a living from your scribblings, do you, Richard?
No, sir, I don't. I work so hard. I put all my time, my energy, my devotion into the precise carving of words.
When she was younger, my mother was a painter and a poet. She told me many times how poor her artist friends were and how she helped them.
My parents pay for my rent, my food, and my clothes. All I have to give them in return is lies they do not believe.
You seem embarrassed.
Someday I hope to proudly offer my first publication to my parents. Until that day, I'll remain the failure of a son they have to support.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercolt, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Tell me, Mr. Nethercolt.
The place...
Did you know the...
No, I did.
Have you recent...
Not a...
I'll leave you alone, sir.
Да. Да ну же, ты посмотри.
Good evening, Mr. Whittaker.
It's Father Whittaker, my son. So,
you still lost in your illusions?
Have you recent news of Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
If you propagate the devil's work, you'll perish by the devil's work. Such is the law of the Lord.
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences, and most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
Well, I suppose I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
I have heard enough. Goodbye. Good evening, Mr. Whitaker.
It's Father Whitaker, my son. So, are you still lost in your rational delusions?
What do you mean when you say that I am more lost than you thought?
All scientists are entangled in a...
Quite a
Well, you are...
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition. I have heard enough for tonight. Goodbye.
Так. Ой, я не знаю, эту побочку, наверное, надо сделать, да? Отслеживать. Где у нас это задание?
Soon the time will come when you will all be judged for your sins. Even now,
Good evening, Christina.
Change your mind, Mr. Reed?
Could this be the scarf you lost, Miss Popper?
It is much more than a scarf to me. It is the only thing that connects me to my family and my country. Thank you so much.
Опять завалила.
What do you know about Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
2 girls I know went to the dispensary yesterday. Nobody has seen them since. I worry about them, in case bad things happen.
Goodbye, miss. Take care of yourself, as best you can.
Косяк на косяке.
You look so pale, my lord. Would you like me to revive you? Pay me a glass of... I'll be gentle. Pay me a bottle, and I'll...
And trickery. You are blinded by your false faith, imprisoned by your
It's a leech! Some of that! I hate leeches! Boo! You leeches didn't kill him! Monster! Killing's all you deserve!
Чем меня опрыскивают? Чесноком, что ли? Кстати, ничего, что они тут по соседству жили. Ничего, что они тут по соседству жили с этим... с оборотнем. Подлечимся. Так. Так, у нас один опасный. Он не агрится. Странно, а чё он не агрится? А до этого что с ним было? Так, это я уже ухожу. Что-то я не могу найти. Так, ладно, давайте поищем по углам. Это не подсвечивается. Подождите, у нас это где-то тут.
This could be the box Lewis thought he
Вот она.
lost.
Господи.
There's a letter inside.
Мне, по-моему, этот квест баганул. Забрать коробку. Так, я забрала коробку. Просмотрю я все документы, может, из-за этого я не могу делать рецепт.
A love letter from Joe Peterson's wife, addressed to Barrett Lewis. Who should I give it to, I wonder?
Ага, понятно. Надо было просматривать все записки. Да. Отвыкла я уже. Давайте тогда по порядку. Так, просмотрим. Ну, я чувствую, у меня еще одно будет прохождение вампира, но это уже будет без стримов. Я буду сама для себя проходить. Да, еще раз посмотрела и появились сведения. Я, по-моему, все уже пересмотрела. Угу. Короче, у нас два варианта. Отдать карту это или Льюису, или Джо Питерсу. О, господи, как все сложно-то. Так, ну там надо, прежде чем отдавать, надо прочитать.
Please, how long have we known each other? We even used to be neighbours for... Fancy buying something, sir?
You never lose your focus, do you? How is business around here?
Business? I have no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. He's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
What you mean besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Так, у нас вариант.
Joe Peterson. He's the villain here, isn't he? But you seem to know each other.
I'd known Joe for years. I saw him box once or twice. He was a friend then. But these days, he's just another thug.
What can you tell me about Mr. Peterson? Besides his behavior toward you, obviously.
Colossus Joe was a decent boxer, good one even. But after his wife passed away, he found every excuse to stop training. Just wanted to pick fights with everyone.
It's never easy to find a new path in life, especially after the loss of a loved one. But crime is certainly not the best option.
We've all had some rough times, ain't we? But most of us don't use our fists to see us through.
And no one has ever stood up to this thug.
Nobody would be fool enough to stand against a wet boot boy.
Barrett, you had an affair with Joe's wife, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. She's the only woman I loved. My first regret is that she stayed with Joe after Harry was born. The second is I never shed a tear when she died.
Try talking to Joe.
Never. But I suspected he knew everything, even without knowing it. And he decided to make me pay in his own way.
Do you mean you're Harry's father?
No one will ever know for sure. And it's better that way. And I don't believe I'd have been all that bad as a dad.
I found this box in an abandoned building nearby. I believe it belongs to you.
Let's have a look. Yeah, this is mine. So, you faced those loons that roam around there. Extraordinary.
I suppose I was lucky.
Luck is a commodity round here. Yours should be properly rewarded.
About this package, it's not just tools and trinkets, is it?
I want to be rude or anything after your kind gesture, but it's none of your business.
Right then. Show me what you have.
Да, тут это...
I should never have taken up my father's business.
You again? What do you want this time?
Have you recent news of Nurse Crane and her
I
dispenser?
saw her wandering the streets. Yesterday, I think. She didn't recognize me. People say she's lost it. It's a sad story.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Так,
You
а ты
again?
чем болеешь или уже
What do
нет?
you
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Так, ладно, это мы сделали. Кстати, что у нас со временем? Скоро уже заканчивать будем. О, Господи. Да, Сёнчик, и страшно. Страшно. Что-то такое там, да, такое. В общем, мне, я так поняла, надо...
Distribute flowers at this time of night.
Good evening, my dear
Сейчас, наверное,
colleague.
поболтаем.
Have you any news on Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
It seems her dispensary isn't so busy nowadays. Good thing for the Swanborough cordial.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling. How are you, boy?
I'm not your boy, all right? Now piss off.
Have you heard anything about Nurse Crane and her dispensary?
Never heard of her.
Goodbye, young man.
Так, ну у меня отслеживается вдова в беде, но я ничего не понимаю, ее найти надо или еще что-то. Священная война. Задание священника. Священная война. Ладно, давайте пойдем это и будем закругляться. Уже это... Сейчас 4 часа будет. Да. Конечно, вот с этой дамой Dark Souls, блин. Я по стамину прокачивала. Я там, по-моему, еще квест один завалила. Ну, что ж поделаешь.
This elixir will give you faith again.
Да, все мигрень.
A lot of people are talking about this Colossus. Perhaps I should look into it. This district seems to get uglier every year.
Сохраняемся. Так, смотрим, что мы еще из лекарств можем сделать, чтобы не тратить время. Средства от простуды делаем. Так это у нас сыворотка выносливости. Так, улучшим мы эту дубинку. Оглушение тут 21, тут 18. Это уже хорошо. Так, вот это мы возьмем. Так, ну что, мы немножко качнулись, уже хорошо. Так, ладно, будем прорываться. Попробуем это. Так, а подожди, у нас... Так, все. Ну что, всем большое спасибо за просмотр. Всем пока-пока. Продолжим проходить. Я не знаю, как тут по настроению. Завтра. Может быть, вампира, может быть, во что-нибудь другое поиграем. А то на улице пасмурно, дождик, надо что-то веселое. Короче, будем думать. Ну что, всем большое спасибо за просмотр. До новых встреч. Пока-пока.